Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Chainsaw Man. Chapters 80 onward, we're on volume 10 now. I said last time I might think about reading the last two volumes of part 1 as like one video each, doing a volume per video, but it was really long last time, which in turn led to it taking me a long time to do the video, so I might split it into 3 sets of 6 chapters. So I might do 6 chapters this week. I'm going to attempt to read 6 chapters right now, see how long that takes me, and if it doesn't really take that long, then I'll push to the end of the volume. But if 6 chapters is kind of a long video on its own, then I'll just wait and do another 6 next week and then finish out part 1 the week after that. And that's the way I'll end up doing things. But either way, let's get to talking about and reading through Chainsaw Man. I really thought last volume was good. We have had spoilers for those of you, if you're clicking into this and haven't watched beforehand, maybe go read and watch what came before. But we just had the death of Aki, one of the main characters. And I thought it was really well done. I think there were a lot of beautiful moments. We talked about a lot of it in the comments, where things like seeing the apartment they all lived in and then seeing everything like literally getting blown away. A lot of the shots with Denji, Power, and Aki were very, very good. And I said a lot in my comments to all of you when discussing it that I like to view this as Aki getting his revenge in a way. We don't know if the Gun Devil will really be dead, if this is really the full 20% America had, if this part is dead, or if this part dying kills the rest of it and all of it dies. I don't really know yet. Maybe I don't know if any of you know any more than I do, but at least I don't know yet. But I like to view this as Aki getting his revenge, because after seeing what just, again, we don't know if they sent all their 20%, but let's assume even if they did, this is 20% of the Gun Devil tops. At max, this is 20%. It could have even been lower, and seeing that, it is clear that no normal human could have done anything about it. There was no way any normal human was doing anything. It could kill, was it a kilometer? I don't remember the exact amount of distance. I think it was even 1.5 kilometers for children, but it could kill any human within a kilometer of itself. There's nothing that somebody who's a human, I feel like even a human with a devil contract, could have done. Like, you would either need another devil or a devil hybrid. And even with a devil hybrid, it makes me think, if he wasn't already confined to Aki's body, if he didn't jump into Aki's body already, then it's like, could Denji have even done anything? Like, if Denji fought what originally came up against Makima, could Denji have even done anything there? It's hard to say. And then there's Makima herself. We have the reveal that she's the control devil, and also that she is like a humanity level threat, which I kind of believe. Because I'll just keep calling him Clinton. Because Clinton was like, Makima wants the worst peace possible, which, as the control devil, and as I keep bringing up the scene with her in the Yakuza way earlier in the series, it seems like she does want peace, but she wants peace by everyone just being under very strict control, which is, all peace but no freedom. So, again, that makes it funny. Freedom, Murica, we send in the Gun Devil. So yeah, she is a massive humanity level threat, but again, it's one of those things where I mentioned before, where what Makima wants, again, if she wants peace, isn't necessarily evil, but she's going about it in an evil way, and the people trying to stop Makima, they've killed a bunch of innocent people. So again, even if what they want is good, even if killing Makima is a good thing, they've done evil things to get there. So there aren't really strict good and bad guys in this conflict. And Makima also died for, I think it was the 29th recorded time. So she has died 29 recorded times now, but clearly she's still alive. Clearly she's still fine. I guess she didn't just get revived or resurrected, whatever, back in hell, because after she was quote unquote killed, she made a phone call to Denji. So if that's the case, then she is still alive in some form. So it makes me wonder, like, what does a death mean? What does a death count as for Makima? And she's, going into this new volume, she's on the cover of the new volume. Huh. So she is still alive, but she is also dead. She also did die. They said confirmed death. But she can just do that a bunch, apparently. And I think, like I said, this is Aki getting his revenge, because as a normal human, I truly don't think there was anything he could have potentially done to the Gun Devil at all. But it is like, even if it's not on purpose, because he was just killed when the Gun Devil showed up, and he just entered the range of the Gun Devil's insta-kill shoot you abilities. Man, and Makima used ability activation and did all this crazy stuff too. That's... Sorry, just remembering more and more stuff. But even if Aki didn't, purposefully, consciously get his revenge, in a way, he still did get his revenge. So, yeah, he still got his revenge, and the way that we saw how he was viewing the world makes me wonder, do fiends all see the world in this distorted way, and that's just why fiends are the way they are to a certain degree? Was Aki actually even seeing that after death, or was it more like, again, what is the person Power used to be? Who did Power used to be, and what is she going through at this point? Because we know that Power legitimately deludes herself into believing things that make things easier for her. So, is that actually what Aki was seeing? Or is that just, an artistic thing to add to the emotion? But that's not, really happening. And then, of course, what the future devil said, you'll die in the worst way possible, but we get it revealed, you'll die in the worst way possible for the Chainsaw Boy. And it just makes me think, I keep doing this with Kubera, I keep doing it with Chainsaw Man. In Kubera, anytime anything happens, I'm like, coincidence or Kubera? And in Chainsaw Man, I'm like, coincidence or Makima? How much of this is happenstance, and how much of this did Makima put Aki and Denji together to have them form a close relationship? How much did she manipulate that Aki would be there when she fights the Gun Devil, so that the Gun Devil goes into his body knowing that he wants revenge? Again, how much did she manipulate all of that? And then, of course, he just so happens to become the Gun Fiend and go straight, as the Gun Fiend, fully transformed still, to Denji's doorstep to fight Denji and be killed by Denji, which not only this takes out a chunk of the Gun Devil, which is probably very good for Makima, considering the people surrounding the Gun Devil want to kill Makima, so this is a good thing for her, a chunk of the Gun Devil's dead, but also forcing Denji to kill somebody who's one of the closest people, possibly the closest person to him, and then having that void now in his life where pretty much everyone who's close to him other than Power and Makima are now dead, and is she going to be able to use that to leverage that against Denji? So it just makes me think, I'm like, and again, we're getting long Haku intro for Chainsaw Man this time, how much of this is coincidental, and how much has Makima manipulated all of this to make Denji easier to control? Because the chainsaw is an important piece to have. So she's making him easier to control, and she's taking out the Gun Devil, two birds with one stone here. And it makes me wonder where we go from there. And it's interesting too, seeing Denji kind of devastated at the end of last chapter, because talking about it here to you all makes me think, remember when he first saw Aki in the hospital that time, and he's like, would I really care if he died? Would I really care if Power died? I guess I'd be kind of upset if Makima died, but I think I'd get over it pretty quick. And now we see, it's hitting him pretty hard. So, without further ado, very long Haku intro. I wonder if I should save the long Haku intro here as its own thing. That way I can, put timestamps there for that. But I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Let's read the next volume, or at least the start of the next volume, starting with chapter 80. And to start, of course, I have the volume cover up here because it's a Jump product, it's Shueisha. I can't actually show you the manga itself, the Shueisha would show up to me like the Gun Devil. Alright. And then just skimming through the beginning of volume stuff really quick. It's called A Dog's Feelings. Okay, so Aki still is on the main character thing. Kishibe's up here on the main character thing. Alright, I don't want to look at the chapter titles because it'll maybe spoil me. Okay, Chapter 80, A Dog's Feelings. Aki died. And I feel like the volume titles for Chainsaw Man are always the first chapter in the volume, which is different. I feel like a lot of times it's just a random chapter title, or sometimes the volume will get its own unique title. But yeah, this one just goes with the first chapter. Aki died. He'd apparently saved up a good chunk of money. His will left half to me and the other half to Himeno's family. I used the money to rent a place. The apartment I picked is cramped but has a nice view. Also, me and Power pigged out on good food. I tried eel for the first time and liked it a lot. We bought a bunch of video games and were playing them non-stop anytime we weren't working. Once we got bored of that, we watched movies and stuff. Okay, so we're having time pass without him. I'm gonna go buy ice cream. You want anything? A rice ball with meat. And we just see his mundane life. Yeah, this is an interesting thing to do next. To not get into Makima stuff, to not get into Gun Devil stuff, to just show that life has continued on. Okay. And we see he draws the winner stick from the ice cream. I killed Aki. And he throws up. What a waste. My head's all jumbled up from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. No matter what I watch or think about, it all goes to crap. Even good food doesn't taste good anymore. My brain must have been turned into crap. Again, I wonder, I mean, obviously this is very much, it's easy to get depressed from killing the guy, but I wonder if we are going to have some actual trauma from Denji here. Like, of all the terrible things he's gone through, I wonder if this is going to be something that really, really sticks with him like that. Pochita? What are you doing, Denji? And of course Makima, when he's at his lowest on this bench. It all just feels, again, coincidence or Makima? Miss Makima, I want a free ice cream. She touches his hand. Oh no, your hands are freezing. It's cool. Cold hands aren't going to kill me. Plus, I won ice cream. That's no good. When you're cold physically, you end up feeling down emotionally, too. Aha. Denji, stand up. Woof. He stands. Good boy. Come over to my place. We'll drink some warm tea together. And he just slovenly follows her. I live on the second and third floors. Uh-huh. Oh, I almost forgot. Are you okay with dogs? He nods his head down. Here we are. And she just has a load of dogs. And I'm going to withhold comment. Those of you who might know, you might know. But I'm going to withhold comment. Nah, okay, I know. I'm home. Yeah. And I wonder if... I know dogs specifically, but I was going to say maybe she just has an affinity to dogs as the control devil. We know she sees through a bunch of different animals' eyes, but of course dogs are like these loyal servants to humanity, man's best friend. And I wonder if that gives, if they're just here for like this devilish, cold-hearted reason, or if maybe Makima herself has a soft spot for dogs as the control devil. That's right, it's a new person, isn't that nice? That's Denji. You can, or can you tell him I rough you? I rough you? Rough you. And then we have the dogs just all over him as he's trying to sit around. There's black tea and green tea, and roasted rice tea. Which do you want? The one that tastes the best. Have some tiramisu too. I made it myself. Tirawada? And then one of the dog barks. Not you, silly. I wasn't calling for you. What? Oh, this one's name is Tiramisu. That's me, I'm Tiramisu. The one you're petting, that's Cream Puff. Yes, that's right, you're getting belly rubs. Aren't you a lucky dog, aren't you? Yes, my Creamy has a nice belly. Who wants a doggy treat? And they all start flipping out. And Denji is still just completely straight-faced. He's eating, drinking. This is like the best place in the world. And then she touches his hand again. Good, your hand's warmed up. Yes'm. The best way to warm up cold hands is to touch living things. Miss Makima, thanks a bunch. What for? My brain feels a little better because of you. And it's one of those things where it's like, what Makima's doing here is a genuinely nice thing, but because we know she's the control devil, because we know she's done all these other things, it's one of those things where it's like, is she doing this genuinely nice thing, or is she only doing this genuinely nice thing to manipulate him? Like, we can't tell, is it actually a nice thing, or is she just manipulating him? My brain feels a little better because of you. Yes, you've been through so much. You did a good job surviving. You're a very good boy, Denji. Ha, ha, ha. He starts crying. Well, it's not what it looks like. And all the dogs start licking him all over. Yeah. Denji, you saved me too. So, do you remember our promise? Huh? Tell me, the wish you want me to grant. And he freezes up. We have all the shots of the world around him. A dog. I want to be your dog. And then we end with the ice cream vomiting poach dog. That face. Oh, God. Wow. A lot to think about, but I talked about most of what I was thinking about as I was reading, so let's just move on. Let's go to 81. Chapter 81 starts with the title, Paw, You Want to Be My Dog. What do you mean by that? What did he mean by this? I don't want to think for myself anymore. I used to only have to think about what I had to do to not die. Now it's like there are 10,000 different things I gotta consider. And it's legit, really exhausting. I killed Aki because it looked like maybe 100 people were going to die if I didn't stop him. But once I calmed down and thought about it really, really hard, I realized maybe there was a better way. Maybe Aki only had to die because I'm stupid. If I'd never become friends with Aki in the first place, I'd never have felt this crappy. There's no point in thinking about this stuff, yet it's all I can think about from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep at night. Again, the realness of knowing that you can't change what happened, no matter how much you think about it. Like, thinking about it more isn't going to help, but you still can't stop thinking about it. And also, something that has been brought up in Chainsaw Man before, but gets brought up in lots of stories or in life in general, where it's like, you know what? Was there a better way? Did what happened happen only because I wasn't smart enough to think of a better way? So yeah. And instead of taking these feelings and this trauma and this stuff that happened and using it to grow as a person, Denji's instead saying, I don't want to grow. I don't want to think. I want to be controlled. Really just Makima forming him into the perfect dog. You're smarter than me, right? So if I just do whatever you say, I won't have to think or feel this drained. You're serious about this. You sure? My dogs have to obey me with complete obedience. And he gives his thumbs up, which seems kind of like a contract. Paw? He puts his hand out. Good dog. Roll over. And he rolls onto the couch. What a smart dog you are, Denji. Good boy. I think this is my right answer. And the doorbell rings. Ah, there she is. I called Power over. Stand? Why'd you call Power over? Dogs mustn't think, silly. Woof. Come on, let's go get her together. You open the door. Because I'm going to kill her. Woof. And then he stops himself. Huh? So we actually... I wonder if this is her test then. I wonder if the manipulation here was to see if Denji was so far gone that he would listen to anything, or if he will refuse. And the painting on the wall is probably also some sort of reference, knowing Chainsaw Man. Oh yeah, that's... Ah, man. That's like something related to Paradise Lost, right? I feel like that's something related to Paradise Lost, the painting on the wall. Okay, sorry, just taking in the spread. And again, I love the use of just full pages conveying the story. It's something I say is really good a lot in Marriage Toxin, where just the art is used to tell a story. Both Chainsaw Man and Marriage Toxin are very good at it. Wait, what? What? What'd you say, Miss Makima? Toi? Were you joking? Miss Makima? Go on, Denji. Denji? Don't open it. And again, he's hearing from the door. I'm assuming the door is his heart. I'm assuming maybe that it is Pochta in there. Whatever, maybe the original Pochta, the original Chainsaw Devil. And that's why the eye is so high up. And it also makes me think about what the future devil said to Aki about Denji killing him and killing Power, and then the worst devil coming around. Open it. You be the one to open it. And again, I love how don't open it coming from the door in his mind, in his heart, is being enveloped, engulfed, and like pushed out of the way by Makima's open it. You don't have to think about a thing. Trust me. And he freezes up. When I open the door, Power will be there smiling. She'll pull a party popper, and she'll be holding a cake, and... why would she have cake? Oh, duh, 'cause tomorrow's my birthday, and he does open it, and she's holding the cake. Denji? Hey. Bang. And then Power's torso is blown away. Man, what a massive spread. And her head falls down to her feet. Denji looks down. I love the way that set of panels was done. The way he looks down, and now back up at Makima. Your hands are cold again, you poor thing. Shall we go back inside? And it seems like he starts to freak out in disgust for a sec, and then bites down to catch himself. Wow, that's the end, and there's no Pochta at the... That's interesting, too. Because I'm reading the volume releases, I don't know if they're there for the weekly releases or if it's just a volume thing. But at the end of each chapter at the volume releases, there's the funny little Pochta I always mention at the end. But it isn't here for this one. Again, I wonder if because he, in Denji's heart, is kind of being pushed away by Makima. This is some really interesting stuff. And again, if Power is dead, what a very interesting death. It wasn't big or climactic. It's sad in the sense, it's more of a real kind of sad where it, instead of being super tragic, it's like just abrupt. It's just, oh, it happened. And now you've lost this other person who was the closest to you. And also, instead of it being a big thing at the end of the volume last time, it's just something that happened quickly. And I wonder if this means that Denji kind of passed her test. And if so, how, if ever, does he get out of this? I neglected to mention it during the long Haku intro. It was something else I had thought about before recording to say, that I thought I heard a long time ago that part 2 had a different main character. And if so, it makes me wonder what in these last two volumes happens with Denji. How do you continue, like, how do you have Chainsaw Man without Denji as the main character? But is it possible that Denji becomes the villain or a villain-esque character working for Makima? That's possible, I'm thinking now. Again, if I'm not just completely mistaken. Because, and if so, I think that's actually very exciting. I think that makes Chainsaw Man a more exciting story if it goes in that direction. Because I mentioned before loving Killing Bites, and Killing Bites does something similar. We start off the series with Hitomi and Nomoto as the female and male main characters. It's clear they're our main characters. And after part 1 of Killing Bites, then a twist happens that I won't say. But after that twist happens, you have part 2 and part 3. In part 2 and part 3, Pure is introduced, and she's the new main character. And I like her story a lot more, but I like that concept, and I like when manga, anime, video games do that, where we're in the same world, we're maybe even following the same storyline overarching, but we have different parts where we get a new main character, a new protagonist. I like the idea behind that, if that's where this ends up going. So, yeah, it makes me wonder, does Denji fall to whatever's... Wow, this is actually interesting. This could be how Chainsaw Man continues on. Let me cook here for a second. So, does Denji just fall to Makima and become Makima's puppet, her dog? Or is the rest of part 1 about how Denji comes very, very close to losing himself? Very, very close to, like, making everything go bad. Like, making Makima's control happen. And maybe... Again, just speculating here, maybe the way that part 1 ends is Denji coming close to falling to the dark side, so to speak, but coming back right at the end to save the world. And then, like they said, like the future devil said, the worst ever devil coming to pass. Whether that's the Chainsaw Devil itself, maybe Denji himself loses his ego and he's taken over by just the chainsaw itself. Or maybe it's another devil that ends up coming about because of everything that's going on. And then part 2 will be about stopping the chainsaw. That's how it could still be Chainsaw Man in part 2, because while Chainsaw Man is the protagonist of part 1, he could maybe be the antagonist of part 2. But that's jumping way ahead of myself. Let's read the next chapter. And to start chapter 82, we have Makima closing the door. Chapter 82, always eat a hearty breakfast. And she just goes back to everything as if it's normal. And Denji, still with the blood on his face, is just absolutely traumatized. But again, probably trying not to think about what he just saw. Trying to shut it off. The tea got cold. Shall I make some more? Am I dreaming? Huh? Miss Makima, is this a dream? And she lays down on his lap. Huh? Oh, what is it? He. And then she laughs and just bursts out into crying laughter. The dogs start freaking out as well. Ha, that was a good laugh. Take off your shirt. How do you respond? And he looks horrified, but he takes it off. She lays back down, and she messes with the ripcord. In exchange for you living a normal life, Pochita gave you a heart. What you made with Pochita wasn't a promise, it was a contract. I asked myself how I would break that contract. How could I make you so hurt that you'd no longer be capable of living a normal life? So damaged that you'd never be able to bounce back for as long as you live. Quite the challenge, isn't it? After all, you felt plenty of happiness, even living in extreme poverty with Pochita. So I decided to begin with making you a lot happier. I gave you a job and money, and fed you lots of delicious food. I provided a family that would get along with you. Aki became a good big brother to you, and Power, the bratty little sister. I'd make that level of happiness your new normal, and then destroy the whole thing. Any happiness or normality you experience from this point on, I'll be the one to create it all and destroy it all. If you overcome your grief and make friends, I'll kill them immediately, and if you get married and start a family, I won't allow your wife and children to live long. But why would you? And he's completely broken by now. Because the time has come for you to atone for your sins. Wow. Okay, that one line. Before, it seemed like she was using all of this to manipulate Denji and to use Denji as a piece, but we know that the devils hate Chainsaw, and we know that Chainsaw must have been doing some crazy stuff in hell. So for her to say here, it's time to atone for your sins, she's not doing this to use Chainsaw, she's doing it to hurt Chainsaw. And because Chainsaw's inside Denji, like hurting Denji, trapping Denji, is the way to hurt Chainsaw. And he's sweating profusely. I looked into your past. Children's brains are really quite incredible. You see, they can hide bad memories away behind a door without the child even knowing it. You hid what you did behind a door for survival's sake, right? Because you'd never be able to live, or never be able to lead a normal life otherwise. Your father didn't kill himself. You killed him, didn't you? And the door opens, and Denji's standing there. And that's why they kept telling him not to open it. Your father was drunk and nearly killed you. You had no choice but to kill him. But the other grown-ups wouldn't get their money back like that, so they made it out to be a suicide. You were finally able to open the door. You helped me kill Power. There might have been a way to save Hayakawa, but you killed him too. You even murdered your own father. Someone like you has no right to wish for a normal life, do they? And again, using every single bit of trauma that she can against him. Nuh-uh. And now we have a normal, daily scene with Denji laying on the couch as she eats. And Makima won. And we end here once again without Pochita at the end of the chapter. That is so creative to do. That's such a creative way to do this. Man, hold on. I'm just taking this in. Because there's like so much to think about. That I think just doing a reaction, just reading it once, I don't think I can completely do it justice. But again, I love this. Like, making it so that she can put Power's death on him. Making it so that he was already thinking, wait, I might have been able to save Aki. But her making it even more so that he would think that. And again, this all seems to be to hurt Chainsaw. Okay. And what makes it even more interesting is if part 1 ended here, I'd be like, oh wow, what an incredible, crazy ending. We're ending off with Denji broken. Denji is just Makima's servant at this point. And I guess we have him try to escape that in part 2, or have somebody try to save him in part 2, or defeat him in part 2 even, if he's too far gone. And that's just the tragedy, and sorry I keep cutting myself off, but instead we still have a full volume and a half left, over a volume and a half left, so part 1 still has time, which makes me think I might have, I don't think I'm right, but I might at least have been on somewhat of the right track in terms of the rest of part 1 being how Denji escapes Makima's clutches. Because we still have to handle the people who want to kill Makima. We still need to see where that goes. And if it's even possible to kill her because she died 29 times, what does that even entail at this point? But either way, let's move on to the next chapter. And I know people really did hype up last volume, and I think last volume was great. And I think the hell stuff, I think before this, my favorite stuff in Chainsaw Man was probably the hell stuff and the darkness devil stuff. And this is probably my new favorite stuff so far in Chainsaw Man. This is really heavy and deep and really well thought out. And it feels like the past 6 dozen chapters, 6 dozen plus chapters before this, like 6.5 dozen, we're all building to this. And without all that time spent building, we wouldn't be able to get this. Okay, so chapter 83, just see what happens next. This is chapter 83, Death, Resurrection, Chainsaw. And we see her getting dressed, using a lint roller, going outside with him. We have all of these other bodies kneeling. I was going to say devils or fiends, but we have Beam there. His arms are sewn back on, but his head is still off. And the same goes for Violence, who has one arm sewn back on, one is still cut partway through, it looks like, and his head isn't on either. I think that's Power as well down there with just her body and a head. And then we have Angel and Princi, or the spider, too. I don't know who the one closest to her is, or the one with all the ears. It's weird that you'd figure if these are all fiends or devils that she'd maybe be using the ones that were with Quan Chi as well. Seraphim, Beam, Goggly, Dominion, Virtue. Okay, this is interesting. What is Goggly? Because I mentioned before how all of the fiends seemed like they had weird names, but their names are all types of angels. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's supposed to be 9 types of angels, right? Or am I remembering wrong? So Seraphim, Dominion, Power, of course Power from the beginning, is there, and then Angel, just Angel itself. Is Virtue a type of angel? Beam is probably like, well, Seraphim's already, so Cherubim, like Cherubim, and Princi is probably Principality, but it's like cut off early. I didn't know if Virtue was a type of angel, so what are we missing? There's thrones. So none of these are named Throne, unless Goggly is Throne. I don't know what Goggly is supposed to be. But Goggly is the Violence Fiend. I didn't know if we had that name before. Virtue's missing a head, though, and Virtue has weird hands and feet. I don't think we've seen Seraphim before. I don't think we've seen Dominion. They're all your followers. They and I had differences in faith. And again, I mentioned it last read through too. The way that Makima is using both political and religious symbolism. And also, I guess, with her as a boss and the way that she treats her underlings, she's using like business, workplace imagery too. So we have imagery of like government, religion, the workplace, all imagery of control. And then, of course, the master and dog. So this, using the angel names, is yet another, like, religious reference for Makima. They're your followers. They and I had differences in faith, but they put their lives on the line and fought to protect you. They've all been waiting for this day of resurrection. And then we have an explosion. Is it going to be raised? Oh no, never mind. We have some soldiers. Direct hit. And then Kishibe. Breach. They all come in. Makima in sight. Open fire from Saito squad. Suzuki squad stand by to alternate in 12 seconds. And they fire into her. But again, she was shot into before, near the beginning of the series. Anti-Makima squad, get ready. So they have specifically an anti-Makima squad. And I wonder, because Makima probably controlled a lot of Japan, how much is Japan itself in on this, and how much are they going rogue to do this? But also, the fact that Makima has so much control at this point, it seems like it'd be pretty much impossible to get all this together without her seeing somehow, somewhere, no matter how careful they were, she would figure it out in some way. You'd think she'd always be looking out for this stuff, so I feel like there's no way this possibly works. Forgive me. Get ready. And then a guy pulls a knife and holds it to his throat. Hell Devil. Kill Makima and cast her into hell. So the anti-Makima squad are going to sacrifice themselves to the Hell Devil to send Makima to hell. And they all slit their throats. Save me, Chainsaw Man. And his chest bursts open, or no, his stomach bursts open, not his chest. His intestines come out and wrap around his neck. It's up to you, Hell Devil. And it's crazy how Hell Devil is like the one coming in for the save even. And this is weird. Is this the Hell Devil itself? Because instead of just reaching into existence itself, breaking the fourth wall, and pulling Makima in, it's instead this centaur. Okay. We have Denji with the intestines around his neck. Pulls on the ripcord. Alright. And then, sorry, hold on. And then he rushes through. And this, he goes into a full transformation. He slices apart the Hell Devil. And of course, wearing his own intestines as like a scarf to add to the design here. And we have this insane panel to end on. So is this... I was thinking, is the rest of part 1 going to be Denji breaking away from Makima's control? But what if it was one of the other possibilities I was saying, where this is just Makima taking over with Denji as her knight, essentially? And Denji is, or, well, I guess Denji might have even lost his ego, like I was saying, if Chainsaw is now the new villain. And because Makima has had Denji saving people, even if Makima takes out these guys here and says Chainsaw Man's a great hero, the people would believe in Chainsaw Man as a hero because of what they've seen him do. So she could, again, take over and have people want her to take over, which is real control. Okay, but that's the end. Again, I feel like we have gotten into some of our deepest Chainsaw Man discussions here for this one. Wow. Okay, we will go to 84. And again, each of these chapters has been taking me a long while. I don't know if there's any way I'm getting all the way through the volume, but we'll see. We'll see where we go. Chapter 84, Hero of Hell. And then one of the guys stands back up, taking his blood. Die after you do your job. And he gives his blood to Hell Devil. The door creaks open, and the hand comes out to squash Denji? Or does he grab his self? Oh no, he does take Denji. Oh dear, he's been cast into hell, has he? And Makima's there. Again, completely untouched looking, confronted by Kishibe. It's no use shooting me, you know. Per my contract with the Prime Minister, attacks made on me will be changed into appropriate illnesses and accidents among Japanese citizens. Wow, so much like the president... So you can make contracts on behalf of others if those others are registered as belonging to you, kind of like what Santa Claus did, because we've seen... Clinton did it to America, sacrificing a year of everyone's lifespan. And now we see that Makima can make a contract with, would Abe have been prime minister at this time? This is way back in 97, so I don't know. I don't know how long the terms are. This is probably somebody completely different. But the prime minister made a deal. All the attacks on her happen in an inconspicuous way to Japanese citizens. So probably all the bullets she was riddled with, Japan's taken a hit to the population. Well, aren't you lucky? Why is it that you haven't lowered your gun even knowing that? How about yourself? Why do you look so calm? Your chainsaw devil was cast into hell. I mean, I guess if you kill her until there aren't enough people left in Japan, then if you wipe out the entire population of Japan, it works. I asked him to save me. Thus, I believe he will return no matter what. Hugh, just what the hell are you? Me? What am I? I'm a fan of his. A fan. And we have him dropping in. Of the hero of hell, Chainsaw Man. And what an insane panel. We have all these random devils, and I wonder if the mangaka was like, oh yeah, this was this devil and this one was this devil. But we have him just dropped in and ripping and tearing. Cry for help and he will come. The devils targeted by Chainsaw and the devils who called for help are cut up and killed too. Because of what he does, he's marked and killed by many devils, but he revs his engines and arises again and again. Some react to his chaotic exploits with anger, and others try to run and try to escape. And still, others worship him. And there's another reason he's the devil that devils fear most. Oh, because they said the devil that devil fears most, or devils fear most, will come. That's what Future Devil said, right? So again, he was right in that Denji killed Aki. Technically not really, but Denji killed Power. And now, Denji has ceased to be Denji really, and he's Chainsaw. The devils that Chainsaw Man eats, their names are erased from existence. I mean, how does that work? I mean, like if he ate the water devil, people would still be scared of water, right? Or like, I guess a new one would form? I don't know. That kind of power can't be possible, says Kishibe. You can't perceive it. That's only natural. You see names that have been eaten are apparently erased from the past, present, and even from individuals' memories. Even with my power to take control over everything, I'm beginning to forget the names that are gone. Do you remember what the Nazis did to the Jews? And he freezes up. Man, the Holocaust denial devil's real. So, did he eat the Holocaust devil or the Nazi devil? Nazis, says Kishibe. Nazis, World War II, SOA, Arnolone syndrome, AIDS, nuclear weapons, the Mount Hio eruption. All of these once existed and were feared every bit as much as devils with their names. Okay, so people don't even know what nukes are in the world of Chainsaw Man at this point? But I'm the only one who remembers those names now, because Chainsaw Man ate them all up. So he ate the Nazi devil. He also ate the nuke devil. And the AIDS devil. The sixth sense all humans used to have. The light of a particular star that would break children's minds. 4 possible conclusions other than death at the end of living beings' lifespans. So, there were scary things that could, like, at the end of your lifespan, something could happen other than dying. Like, maybe you could ascend, maybe you could go straight to hell, and they were all things people were scared of, and now none of those things are things that exist anymore. Humans used to have a sixth sense, but the fear of that sense and that sense are now gone. And then, yeah, the light of everything is now just gone. They've all ceased to exist, and I can't recall them. Yet even now I remember the sight of their devils fighting Chainsaw Man as clear as day. The scale of this is so big I can't wrap my head around it. So you're going to use this power to turn the world to crap. Do you really believe the Prime Minister of Japan would make a contract with such a devil? So again, she at the very least thinks that using this power, I guess maybe she'll use it to eliminate everything else that could harm people and just make it, again, this freedomless, fearless utopia. I have the power to control those I believe to be lesser than myself. If I fight Chainsaw Man and win, I should be able to control him. I want to use Chainsaw Man to create a better world. Say again. Take, for example, death, war, hunger. There are many things in this world humanity would be happier without. With Chainsaw Man's power, I'll blot them all out. So again, I guess everyone would be immortal if she got rid of death, but unless you get rid of the aging devil, then you would still have aging. And it's a weird concept to be like, okay, if you eat the war devil, then if people are angry with each other or like need to fight over resources, they just can't do it because they're like, the idea of war doesn't even come to them. And it's like, I guess people just don't get hungry anymore. Their bodies just go on. We invent photosynthesis for humans if Hunger Devil dies. Quite the virtuous plan you seem to have there. Haven't you considered you might lose and get eaten yourself? That would be another dream come true, for me. I told you, I'm a fan of his. To be eaten by Chainsaw Man and become part of him, there could be no greater honor. Now, it seems the time for our little chat has come to an end. He has returned, and the door gets burst open, with Chainsaw coming back out. And that's where we end again. And again, I love that Pochta's not at the end, showing that Pochta and Denji are kind of gone. Right now, it's just Chainsaw. And honestly, this is so long that I might as well do the rest of the volume. Who cares? It'll take forever, but why not? We have chapter 85 here. And then Bloody Good Gut Feeling. And the art in this one is really interesting. We definitely have a change here. It almost feels watercolor-ish. Of course, without the colors. And then, don't move. You might want to back off. I asked Chainsaw Man to save me. I am about to be killed, although I will attempt to resist in celebration. Now come. And then Chainsaw tears her to shreds. Weird. Weird. So Chainsaw tears her apart even though she asked him to save her. Is this how he views saving her? He looks at Kishibe, and "save me" echoes in his brain. And he vanishes. We see a family burger. We got an order, family. Eat with your family at Family Burger. Moms and dads love Family Burger. Tomato, lettuce, cheese, bun. And the star that packs a punch is the beef. Here's your meal. 1 supersized Family Burger, 1 large order of fries, and 1 large cola. Took long enough. Family. And we have Kobani working at this family restaurant now. Kobani? Your smile's too forced. Make it more like family. Yes, sir. Also, you say, every time you talk. It's about time you broke that bad habit. Because that's not familial. Yes, sir. And he slaps her. That was a family slap, okay? This is a great set of 3 panels out of context. I want you to remember that pain every time you're about to say, If you do that, you'll stop saying it, won't you? Isn't that right? Kobani, we should all work together to solve problems, 'cause we're a family. Save me. What'd you say? Oh, welcome to Family Burger. And then immediately Chainsaw's just there hovering over them. And then everybody's doing the same. And the guy gets his head taken off in an instant. He looks at the meal. Hey, Pochta, just once in my life, I want to try a hamburger that isn't rotten, you know? And he sits at the table. Vamvaya. And then, call the devil hunt, and his head gets taken off. Vava, vam, vo, ah. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Is this for real? Are you serious? And it's weird. Why'd he take out Makima and come here? I thought he was coming here because she said save me, and I thought that maybe a part of the contract is that anytime somebody said save me, it would just like activate him and immediately call him, but that doesn't seem to actually be the case. Va, va. And then, a hamburger. Hamburger. And then, I've got an order. 1 hamburger. Make it a meal. Family. Eat with your family at Family Burger. Moms and dads love Family Burger. He's waving his arms around. Tomato. Cheese. Bun. We have the one down. And the star that packs a punch is the... And then, Kobani, take the food out. Take it out there. Me? 1 supersized Family Burger meal. And again, we still don't know how Kobani did the thing she did before. And she trips and spills it all on him. And everybody looks completely shocked. Vamburger! Again, this panel out of context. Family! Eat with your family at Family Burger. Moms and dads love Family Burger. Tomato, cheese, bun. Kobani, we're gonna die because of you. And his head gets taken off. Don't trip. This time, don't you dare trip. Yes, sir. Yeah. Don't dare trip. Don't say don't say it. One supersized yeek, a meal with a pola. And then she immediately drops it on him in the same way again. This is, again, we went through all this incredibly serious stuff for them to drop the most avant-garde chapter of manga. And then everybody's shocked again. And we end there. That is the most avant-garde chapter of manga. Like, what on earth? That was incredible. I just hope Kobani doesn't get immediately dismembered, but who knows? Might be where we're going. Everybody's dying. Either way, let's go to 86. We start with more Kobani. I'm sorry. Chapter 86, Date Chainsaw. Or Date Chainsaw, is that going to be his name? His full legal name, Date Chainsaw? Is this a hidden camera prank? Huh? There's no way she tripped twice, right? I get it. This is a hidden camera show. We're being punked. Hey, you're watching, aren't you? We know this is all a prank. And then this guy gets beheaded as well. And she puts the burger back together. Nah. And slides it onto the table and starts crying. Then he takes a bite. I want to go on a date with a girl so bad. He looks over to Kobani. Why? And picks her up and just takes her. And she's crying as they go get ice cream. And the ice cream truck is shredded behind them. It doesn't taste like anything. And then Kitsutsuki? I think that's not she. Game Center. Pretty strong looking devil for the dispatch I accepted. Oh? Don't be afraid, miss. And it's safe now that I'm here. Then we have him just taken out. Eep. Eek. Huh? We have Dance Mushroom. Vance. Huh? Vance. Dance. You have to put money in it, so I can't dance. All the money. But I've never done it before. Never, so... And we have her playing Dance Mushroom. Step. 1, 2. Eek. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And then he's just sitting on top of a building. It seems we've been noticed. And Makima's there. Come out, everyone. Wow. This is interesting. Gotta impress Miss Makima a little on our first operation. So their first operation, is this her special anti-chainsaw squad? She asked Chainsaw to save her, but then he ended up dismembering her, and she says she's going to try to defeat him. Gotta impress Miss Makima a little on our first operation, so we turn it into a competition. The first of us to take its head wins the right to ask Miss Makima on a date, for instance. There's no point for you to win then. If you ask Makima out, all you'll get is misery. Everyone really loves Miss Makima, don't they? Oh, And this is an interesting squad. The sword guy is alive and he is here. That should go without saying. Miss Makima saved our lives over and over again. Well, I think she'd be bored on a date with a man, right, Miss Makima? And Reise's there. So are they all people being mind-controlled? And we know 2 of them, so I wonder what the backstories of the others are. Do they have any memories of their past lives? Are they just fully puppets? And then Quan Chi's there. You're all out of line. I'll protect you, Makima. I like it. Whoever takes down Chainsaw Man gets a date with me. And that's where that seemed like a quick one. Wow. Crazy, and I forgot to change it to 86. Sorry, I forgot to change the chapter thing. We're going to 87. Sorry, forgot about that. At least at the bottom of the screen, you always have the chapters at the bottom, but like the YouTube chapters. But yeah, sorry about that. Going to 87. I think either this is the last or there's only one more after this. 87, Chainsaw Man versus the horrifying weapon humans. Oh, I wonder... Okay, so Reise's bomb, we have the samurai guy, we have Arrow, so I guess they're all hybrids like he is. And it's weird that all the hybrids are weapons. I wonder if non-weapons can become hybrids. They're not humans, devils, or fiends. The name that referred to them was eaten by you and erased. Yet somehow their existence was not. Okay, so whatever, I'm saying hybrids or whatever right now, whatever they are don't have a name because the name was erased. One of the many names you've consumed, of the many names you consumed, they're the sole exceptions. Do you remember? You fought the weapon devils and the 4 horsemen who are now here. At the height of the battle, you vanished before our eyes. Again, we're getting some crazy lore. So, the weapon devils were their own thing, and the 4 horsemen who are now here. So who are now here, does that mean on Earth? Or like literally there? Or like 4 of the ones there? Are they all weapons? I think they're all weapons. I think she means here as like just on Earth. So the 4 horsemen are... Ooh, Death Devil's one of them. Death Devil's going to be insane. That might be one of the most insane devils now that I think about it. I mean, there are a lot of things that a lot of people fear more than death, so it might not be the strongest. But yeah, death's probably pretty strong. There's death, war, pestilence, and famine? And pestilence and plague are kind of the same thing, right? Alright. At the height of the battle, you vanished before our eyes. It makes sense that we couldn't find you even with all our searching. You were living in a completely changed near-death form, so we vanished and became Pochta. But now we're finally reunited. Chainsaw Man, let's bring this long battle to an end. And it's interesting that we have the 4 horsemen, we have the weapons, but we have control. Control is an interesting thing to throw in here as like the main central one. And then Public Safety, Devil Extermination, Special Division 5, commence the operation. And Reise pulls her pin. The one snaps her fingers. This guy pulls something from the back of his neck. Is he going to be like spear maybe? And then Katana unsheathes his arm. I think he was confirmed to be Katana. The other guy does the same. Maybe he's knife. This guy, the motion he makes with his mouth and tooth, if he's a weapon, what would that be? Would it be hook? Is he the fish hook devil? Huh. I don't know what that motion would necessarily be. Oh no, it's like he's pushing something in and making a click? What weapon would you do that with? I'm not 100% sure what this guy is yet. And then Quan Chi pulls the arrow from her eye. All of them jump, and there's 7 of them. Okay. So Reise's bomb. This one guy is flamethrower? I guess maybe that's the guy pushing the thing to click? Or is that the one snapping their fingers? No, it's not the one snapping their fingers. The one snapping their fingers, oh, maybe to make like a whip cracking sound, is like whip. And then the one with the one in his spine looks like he is spear. Seems like the one's flamethrower. The one maybe isn't knives, maybe it's swords. So swords and katanas count as two different fears. And they all go in. And there's a crater left in the side of the building. Multiple buildings get torn through. And it looks like he's kicking away at Quan Chi. They're flying through buildings. And we just have gore and wreckage from all of them strewn about. And Katana walks up behind him and uses the same move he used before. But he's just torn apart this time. Again, showing that like Denji is gone. This is just Chainsaw Man. Okay, this looks unwinnable. And that's where it is. That's such a good chapter in that it's really hype. It's really hype seeing all these weapons fight Denji. But then, or not Denji, but fight Chainsaw. Chainsaw completely annihilates them. They're completely gone. And then it just ends with Makima. Welp, that didn't work. That's great. Okay, so I think chapter 88's the end, so let's move on to it. As is seemingly my new habit, I could not stop myself from recording, so here we are. Here we are, with me going through the entire volume. Let's finish it out. And then we have Flamethrower, and then chapter 88, Star Chainsaw. Burn for me, baby. And the flames come up from below and erupt out of the sides. Whip Devil comes in. Kya ha ha. Huh? And then I think that's the bomb coming in. Yeah, they all get blown away. Then Reize gets decapitated. And Spear throws. And Spear actually does manage to pierce through Chainsaw. Makima points her fingers. Bang. And then a massive wave hits him. Bang, he's hit again. Bang, bang. And he's sent up so high into the atmosphere that you can see the outline of Japan. How long can Chainsaw Man hold his breath? I wonder if he needs to breathe. Oh, he digs into his chest and he pulls out Pochta. Oh, this is interesting. So we never knew what would happen if the Pochta within Denji's heart would be taken out or anything, but now Chainsaw is taking his heart out. He removed his heart. Is he going to start this process all over from the beginning? He rears back like a pitcher and hurtles his heart back to earth. Oh, but his heart transforms into a new Chainsaw body. And he's doing all this without extra blood. I mean, I know he just took out all those devils in hell, but still, he is doing some crazy stuff without needing to replenish. And he fires out his chains. So again, all the stuff he's doing, it's clear that, like, Denji is just straight up not there anymore. This is, and it's not even necessarily the Pochta that we knew as Pochta. It is just Chainsaw. He grabs onto them with the chains and hoists them. And then bifurcates them all. To be continued, Chainsaw Man. And we end. This is cool. Hold on. We end at the very end. Instead of the Pochta with Chainsaw Man written at the end of each chapter. And Pochta's been gone ever since, this change happened. Now, we have Denji. Okay. Really cool volume. I think this might have been my favorite so far. I think I liked this more than last volume. That was incredibly, incredibly good. I feel like I've not got the most to say about it, given that most of what I had to discuss, I discussed while reading. Some of my theories didn't pan out. Some still have some potential, like my read on why Makima wanted to do this as punishment for the Chainsaw Devil doesn't seem right. It seems like she says she's a fan of him. And we've gotten into even larger metaphysical stuff with the concepts being removed from reality. But either way, I don't want to spend too much more time. I'm just going to go ahead and end it. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters, my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more Chainsaw Man, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you'd like to help support the channel to help me to continue to make videos, you can hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a channel patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and members. You get a shout out at the end of every video, and you get One Piece a bit early, in addition to knowing that you're helping me to keep making videos. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, Efranono and Abyss Knight, Cheriton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pater Diablo. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you all next time.